between school years, I do like to think about the things that I learned that school year. What did I learn during our 5th grade homeschool year? And me releasing that need for her to absolutely love every subject and everything that we did in our homeschool helped our homeschool so much. Beyond biomes and American history, I do want to share with you 5 things that I am taking away from this year. These are realizations that I had specifically for me, but I do want to share with you in hopes that they may help. Number one, I'm actually re-recording because I just didn't like the way it came out. So for number 1, the first thing that I learned this year was if something is working well, and I mean well, don't change it just because you heard of somebody else with something working well with them and it's different than what you're doing. So for our example is we love our routine. We thrive on it really well. We're not a schedule family. We're not a flow family. We're not a block family. We are a routine family. And we've been doing it for a few years and we got it down. We got it down to what works the best, and I knew why. Well, then I was talking to some people. My daughter was talking to some of her friends, and she came to me and she said, let's try block scheduling. I said, okay, we'll try block scheduling. Let's see what we can do. We did it and it was not for us. And we should have cut bait and returned to our routine faster. But that kind of goes with number 1 is if you do make that change and you know that it's not going to work, it's just not going to be for you, run back to what you know. Run back to what you know works. I do believe there are quite a few reasons that block scheduling didn't work for us. If you're interested, please let me know down in the comments and I will make a video on that. But we are a routine family and we will continue to be a routine family, at least for the foreseeable future. So lesson number 1, if it's working and working well, not just limping along working, but working well, then that can be what is really needed for your family. Don't go chasing what works for other families because all families are unique and all homeschools are unique. Number 2, make sure to have time set aside for those honest conversations and honest feedback from your kids about what is happening in your homeschool. We really like to schedule these times. They are scheduled times. We have the conversations in passing quite a bit and, you know, like, how's this going? What's going on with this? What do you think of that? How do you like this curriculum? But I always end up getting much more honest feedback when we have those sit down times scheduled where we have the list of what we are doing and really talk about what we like and don't like about each thing that we have within our homeschool. Anything from the schedule to the curriculum to the snacks to the experiments, just really focusing on what is working and what isn't. Now, it doesn't mean that we always change what isn't working. We sometimes just try to tweak it a little bit, but sometimes we do change it, which brings me to number 3. If something has worked in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work again. My example for this is our language arts for 5th grade. We had really just been sticking with the same language arts and moving right along, and it was working well. I knew that going into our 5th grade year that language arts, check. I didn't have to worry about what we were doing. I didn't have to do a massive amount of research. We had been going along so well with the language arts that we were using, and it fell flat. We knew by the middle of 5th grade that we had to make a pretty drastic change in language arts, and I will link that video down below. But it was just something that we needed to do, and I was surprised. So if something is not working, even if it has worked before and has worked for many years before, If it's not working now, then it is time to make a change. Number 4, don't be afraid to try brand new things. And this year we instituted Teacher Takeover Day, where my daughter teaches me the lessons, and we have loved it so much, and we will continue with Teacher Takeover Day through 6th grade. We have it about once every other month, and it works amazing. She really takes the time to study the lessons, to teach me the lessons of that day, and I love watching her prepare for it. I love that she has to really have a grasp on all of that information in order for her to do the teaching, and it has been such a wonderful addition to our homeschool, and so we will continue on Teacher Takeover Days. The number 5 thing that I learned this year, which probably really should have been number 1, is that it is okay for your student not to love every subject. I don't love every subject. I don't love everything that I'm responsible for doing, but I know that I'm responsible for doing it, and I know that I need to do it to the best of my ability. And me releasing that need for her to absolutely love every subject and everything that we did in our homeschool helped our homeschool so much. So I really strongly encourage you, if you know that this is something that your student needs to do and needs to learn how to do, keep plugging through and understand that they may not love it, but they still need to learn how to do it. And that has been such a blessing for our homeschool. It has stopped so many tears on my part and her part, because I no longer have that expectation of her having to love it and having to express that she loves everything that we are doing. And there's just a subject that I know she doesn't love, and that's okay, but she is learning how to do it, and that is what is most important. Please let me know what you learned this year down in the comments.